Dynamite download.
Speaking of debuts, Top Flight tonight, they started off the show versus the Young Bucks. And, at first it was kind of for me, it was kind of an interesting way to start the show, right? Top Flight, where they came out first, not really well known by the mainstream audience,
Right.
but I have a feeling that there's going to be a lot more people after this match that are going to be clamoring to see these two kids. That was an impressive showing. And I got to say, the Young Bucks, their defense against this team, at times it felt like they were fighting a mirror image of themselves. This match was high energy, fast paced, really a nice compliment off of each other as far as styles go. And I think it was a really great showing as a tag title defense against a team that really, I think, made a name for themselves tonight.
I couldn't agree more. What I wrote in my notes was that it was high energy, fun match, great show opener. And what really was amazing out of these 21 and 19-year-old tag teams, imagine what we were doing at 19 and 21. We definitely would not be able to handle ourselves in a wrestling ring, let alone we'll not even go down that rabbit
No,
hole.
well said. Yeah, exactly.
But these guys are well beyond their age. I love the package. It really makes you root for them even more. So you just throw out these random jobbers, then you don't hype them up or give them a background story. You could do them no good. This did them good. This hyped them up. And not only that is that they're going to get an additional match with TH2. It just sets up, they planted those seeds, and TH2 and Top Flight are very similar styles too. So that's going to be another amazing, entertaining match to watch. So this is a great way to start the show. I love the fact that the Young Bucks are giving a lot of these young, fresh green guys chances. Private Party, they put them over. You got Top Flight, which I think honestly might be a better Private Party at this point. They're really polished in the ring. And
I didn't want to say it because I know Private Party is, they have a well-established fan base.
I love Private Party. I love them.
No hate against those guys, but
salute to them.
This is a young team that they were entertaining and they were smooth in the ring.
I agree. Very smooth.
I have to say, some of that, obviously, some of the credit needs to go to the Young Bucks, right?
Yes.
Because they're such pros and their style fits so well with these two kids. But for being as young as they are, you would have never guessed that they were, really kids. They couldn't. Only one of them could be joining us as we drink a beer tonight. It's just unbelievable how young those kids are. But like you said, SPD, I really love the Young Bucks. Their mentality, it's so clear that yes, they love being at the top. Their journey has certainly been a bumpy one and a wild one. They've gone all over the world. But I think they're honestly at a stage of their careers where, especially with the book coming out, they got to be very reflective on how far they've come and the journey that they've had. And it's got to be really refreshing to be in a place now in their careers where they can give back. And this was a great example. This was a showcase for two guys that Top Flight team will never have. Their future is going to be completely altered from here on out. Right. I mean, they're going to be well known. People are going to be buzzing for them. Personally, I want to see a rematch I want to see the Top Flight get another opportunity down the road.
I agree.
I think that those guys held their own against one of the best teams in the world.
Yep.
That said, I love the TH2 plant too. We saw TH2 on Dark, and what you and I have talked about is getting to see characters. I know that they have a big roster and they only have a limited amount of time, but having things build off of each other. TH2 in their segment last night in Dark, talking about being cast to the side, being ignored, and then coming out tonight and making an impact. That was perfect. It was a perfect fit for any of us who have been following the content. We get to see the natural progression of the story. And I love seeing Jack Evans be a dirtbag. That guy is so good at being just a complete dirtball. I love it. So that was a really great. I love the start of the show, and I love how they were able to interact multiple teams and get multiple teams opportunities to get on TV. Like you said, it's well needed and a well use of time there.
It is definitely elite for me for a show opener, an overall match, and overall storyline, all around elite. It's not the match you're going to be talking about, the next day with the whole card being so strong as it was. But I just realized every single match had a story at the end leading to a future storyline. It's kind of like the go home show they had before the last pay-per-view at Full Gear. And so they kept having these plants at the end, future storylines developing, and AEW is doing that. So often we see these matches that just end and it's like, why did you even have a match?
Yep.
And then where do you go from here?
Yep.
Every single one on the card, they had a future storyline develop in some way or another. And that made this show top to bottom outstanding. But this match to me was elite. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I love that point too by you, man. So often in wrestling, we're used to start and stop, feuds that don't get off the ground, guys whose like their push gets just undercut out of nowhere, stories that just end without even getting anywhere, to them. AEW's done a really nice job of having continuity. We talked about it last week when they talked about, the Moxley and Omega history that was out there. The Death Triangle and the Eddie Kingston relationship that draws on past history. I mean, AEW does a really nice job of being smart and playing off of their history, letting things naturally develop and building these stories. And this was a great example. You're absolutely right. Each match really did showcase, plant seeds for next week's show, and make the little crumbs that make you want to keep coming back, as if they needed that, right?
I know, right?
It's a really nice touch by the company, and I think they're doing a really good job with that.
Yeah.
So one of the things going in, and I agree with you, SPD, I would say this was an elite, but I would say, obviously, coming into this show, the buzz was around so many other matches that were going into it. So yes, this probably isn't going to be the one that you're going to talk about tomorrow. The buzz isn't going to be through the roof or anything like that. But I do have a feeling people are going to enjoy seeing Top Flight more on AEW television. And I think that this is a great start for the Young Bucks title defenses as far as their title reign. So